Enoch has returned to explain why and how he created the Great Pyramid. Enoch returned in the year 2009. Who is he? The scripture that we're going to quote for today is Isaiah 19:19, which reads, "In that day," which means in the year 2009 AD, "the Great Pyramid will be recognized as an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. The Washington Monument will be recognized as part of it. Together, those two monuments would testify that the Lord predestined human civilization." This is a paraphrase of that verse, and we're about to see that the paraphrase is correct. Points that we're going to make is that Enoch was the Freemason genius whose architectural drawings were used to build the Great Pyramid. Why did God take Enoch to heaven? Why has God returned Enoch to earth in 2009? Who is the man who is Enoch in 2009? Enoch's calendar of prophetic events, Enoch, Freemasons, Great Pyramid, and prophecy. What is their connection? This is Edward D. McKinney, and I am an independent Bible prophecy researcher. Dear prophecy student, this is a free newsletter that you ordered from twoprophets.org. The date of the publication of this Bible study / newsletter was January 16, 2011. God took Enoch to heaven in order to suspend the work of Enoch until the end of time, which is our time. God did the same thing with Elijah, you recall. God took Elijah to heaven in order to suspend his work until the end time, which is our time. We believe that Enoch metaphorically returned in our time as engineer Samuel Laboy, because Laboy is the one and only genius of our time to demonstrate how ancient Enoch designed the Great Pyramid with only his compass, straight edge, pencil, and paper. After Enoch designed the Great Pyramid, an arbitrary number was imposed on its height. That height was 5,770 inches. From that one measurement, all other measurements of the Great Pyramid were calculated. Why was the height of exactly 5,770 inches imposed on the Great Pyramid? You are about to see why and to be amazed. In the process of discovery, you will realize that Enoch was the first Freemason and that the Great Pyramid and the Washington Monument were built from the original architectural drawings that Enoch did about 5,000 years ago. The reason that Enoch used the numbers 5770 involves one of the most providential meetings of minds of our time. When researcher Edward McKinney, who is me, examined the work of genius Samuel Laboy, I immediately recognized the reason that Enoch had imposed 5,770 inches onto the Great Pyramid. The number 5770 and engineer Samuel Laboy will forever be correlated because 5,000 years ago, Enoch used the number 5770 to prophesy the year of his return to earth through the work of genius Samuel Laboy in the year of 5770. Engineer Samuel Laboy discovered the ancient engineering secret of Enoch. Engineer Samuel Laboy is the man through whom Enoch returned in the year 2009 AD. Engineer Sam Laboy deals with the simple basic design from which the Great Pyramid came. We will briefly describe his work as best we can. The significance of the work of Laboy is that he cracked the code of the pyramid so that Laboy's measurements of the pyramid exactly match original measurements from the original drawing that Enoch did 5,000 years ago. Why are exact measurements of the Great Pyramid important? According to prophecy researcher Edward McKinney, the reason is that each inch of height the Great Pyramid stood for the particular year in human civilization, using the Hebrew calendar. McKinney was the very first person, and I am talking about myself, in human history since Enoch to associate years of significant historical events to inches in the height of the Great Pyramid using correct measurements from the work of Samuel Laboy. The combined and complementary discoveries of Laboy and McKinney are two facets of the work of Enoch, the engineering part and the prophetic part. Now, throughout this Bible study, I am going to talk about McKinney in the third person when I'm actually talking about myself. Okay, mankind's greatest accomplishment of all time. In diagrams, we see the basic geometric design of the Great Pyramid that Enoch used 5,000 years ago. Engineer Sam Laboy discovered this design, this basic design, which is only a circle, a triangle, and a square, and he called it the perfect symbol. Laboy, like Enoch, made this basic design out of a circle, a square, and a triangle, and these are the basic shapes of geometry. The only tools needed to draw these shapes were a compass, a square, and an edge. From this simple geometric drawing that Laboy did was developed the greatest human feat in history of human civilization. This ancient feat pales the trip to the moon in 1969 AD into insignificance. Why was the Great Pyramid a superior accomplishment to the trip to the moon? The Great Pyramid is superior because it has foretold the years of significant events for 5,000 years with complete unerring accuracy. The trip to the moon, on the other hand, was only a technical accomplishment. The Great Pyramid was a harmonious combination of technical and spiritual or prophetic accomplishment. When we take holistic looks at prophetic dates in the Great Pyramid, we realize that the particular events that would occur on particular dates were given. In other words, Enoch knew the most significant dates and events in the prophetic plan of God from 5,000 years ago, and he used the Great Pyramid to embed his understanding until the end of time, which is our time. In this way, Enoch has returned to explain his work to you and to me. Now, when we look at the drawing of the perfect man that Leonardo da Vinci did, we are amazed because it fits perfectly onto Samuel Laboy's drawing of the Great Pyramid. The drawing of a perfect man by Leonardo da Vinci is shocking when we overlay it onto the perfect symbol that Samuel Laboy discovered and find a match. Questions enter our minds. Was Da Vinci a Freemason who was privy to the great secret of the Great Pyramid? Did Da Vinci just happen to draw out perfect proportions of a human that just happened to match the perfect symbol of Laboy and the basic design drawing of the Great Pyramid? According to Edward McKinney, we answer these questions when we overlay the perfect symbol of Laboy onto the perfect man of Da Vinci and onto the architectural drawing of the Great Pyramid. To our amazement, we see perfect matches. Not only do we see perfect matches, we see that these three drawings belong together because they together identify significant dates of human history in the calendar of events or timeline events of God. Lines in the drawing of Leonardo da Vinci, which we previously dismissed as construction lines that should have been erased, become significant years in the timeline of human history. There is no better way to demonstrate this phenomenon than to combine the three famous drawings into a composite and apply a dateline to it. This is where the number 5770 comes in. Researcher Edward McKinney has done this for the first time in history and thereby made a great discovery of 5,000 years and a great breakthrough regarding the Great Pyramid. To reiterate, Enoch designed the Great Pyramid as a timeline of human history on which are identified the most significant events in human history. Among these significant events is the very year that Enoch would return to earth in the form of the providential book that was published by engineering genius Samuel Laboy. You are about to see in disbelief that the number 5770 in the timeline of world history is the very year that Samuel Laboy published his providential book. Here is the secret understanding that Edward McKinney revealed. You see, the number 5770 is the year 5770 on the Hebrew calendar. Enoch designed the Great Pyramid in compliance to the Hebrew calendar because pre-flood man 5,000 years ago was using the Hebrew calendar. The year 5770 is the year 2008-9 AD of our modern Christian calendar, and genius Samuel Laboy published his providential book in 2008. In this way, Enoch returned from heaven to be among us in the year 2008-9. I might mention that years of the Hebrew calendar do not line up exactly with years of the Christian calendar, and that is how the years 2008 and 2009 AD can be the same on the Hebrew calendar. Let us look at two diagrams of McKinney to see how the prophetic calendar of Enoch works. We are overlaying Laboy's perfect symbol, Da Vinci's perfect man, and Enoch's perfect pyramid. McKinney's first diagram that you see here overlays the perfect symbol of Samuel Laboy onto the perfect man of Leonardo da Vinci and the perfect pyramid of Enoch. We are immediately astonished at the complementary fits of these three famous drawings. Initially, there seems to be superfluous lines that do not match anything, but these lines are actually significant parts of a calendar of events. They mark off dates, as we shall see in the next and most amazing diagram. The year 5770 is the year 2008-9 AD of our modern Christian calendar, and genius Samuel Laboy published his providential book in 2008. In this way, Enoch returned from heaven to be among us in the year 2008-9. I might mention that years of the Hebrew calendar do not line up exactly with years of the Christian calendar, and that is how the years 2008 and 2009 AD can be the same on the Hebrew calendar. Let us look at two diagrams of McKinney to see how the prophetic calendar of Enoch works. We are overlaying Laboy's perfect symbol, Da Vinci's perfect man, and Enoch's perfect pyramid. McKinney's first diagram that you see here overlays the perfect symbol of Samuel Laboy onto the perfect man of Leonardo da Vinci and the perfect pyramid of Enoch. We are immediately astonished at the complementary fits of these three famous drawings. Initially, there seems to be superfluous lines that do not match anything, but these lines are actually significant parts of a calendar of events. They mark off dates, as we shall see in the next and most amazing diagram. The second and most amazing, awe-inspiring diagram overlays the perfect symbol of Laboy onto the perfect man of Da Vinci and an architectural drawing of the Great Pyramid. In addition, McKinney overlaid dates of the Hebrew calendar where dates and events were indicated by horizontal lines and significant intersections of lines. The result was profound. The secret calendar of the Great Pyramid, discovered by Edward McKinney. Visit our website to see a large image which is not possible to see on YouTube video. Go to twoprophets.org/news01_11JAN16 Enoch.GreatPyramid.htm. McKinney's second and most awe-inspiring diagram, which is the first in human history, overlays the perfect symbol of Laboy onto the perfect man of Da Vinci and an architectural drawing of the Great Pyramid. McKinney then overlaid dates of the Hebrew calendar where dates and events were indicated by horizontal lines and significant intersections of lines. You will be dumbfounded at the results. You will also be dealing with the ramifications of this discovery. Alright, here are excerpts from the accompanying calendar. 2009 on the calendar is 2770. Laboy book, Enoch returned. 1799, 5580 inches, George Washington to heaven. The next is the height of the Washington Monument at 5555 feet, which is 5555 on the Ethiopian and Hebrew calendar. This is a complicated part. It requires more understanding, but the Hebrew calendar and the Ethiopian calendar don't match, but they were both used for the Washington Monument. Okay, 1787 AD, year 5548 Hebrew, U.S. Constitution was born. 1492, Christopher Columbus. 1454 AD, Amerigo Vespucci, after whom America has been named. 1000 AD is 4761 on the Hebrew. Inquisitions began. The year 735 AD, the first English Bible. The year 200 AD, persecutions over the issue of Easter and Passover. 30 AD, which is 3791 on the Great Pyramid, Jesus was put into a tomb, and this matches the king's tomb in the Great Pyramid. The year 421 BC, Easter's tomb, and this is the queen's room, or the queen's tomb in the Great Pyramid. 516 BC, the temple was postponed, and this is the height of 3245 inches. And this coincides with the postponement of the Washington Monument at 154 feet. So you see, the Freemasons who were designing the Washington Monument were obviously correlating it to the Great Pyramid. 700 BC, 3061 inches, Israel was conquered. 799 BC, Elijah died. 1275 BC, the Exodus. 1358 BC, Aaron was born. 1500 BC, Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. 1836 BC, Rebekah was announced that she would have Esau and Jacob. 2385 BC, the births of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The year 2954 BC, Enoch went to heaven. The year 3509 BC, Seth built the holy city. The year 3761 BC, Seth was age 50, and the Hebrew calendar, which is still in use to this day, began. 3811 BC, Seth was born. 3940 BC, Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden. 4000 BC, Eve was presented to Adam after she was created. In 2009 AD, Enoch returned to explain through engineer Samuel Laboy how he designed the Great Pyramid, and to explain through researcher Edward McKinney why he designed the Great Pyramid. In this way, the Great Pyramid of Egypt and the pillar of the Washington Monument together testify that God is the almighty architect of human civilization, who wrote human history in advance in exact detail. Let me requote the scripture that pertains to this Bible study. In that day, 2009 AD, the Great Pyramid will be recognized as an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and the pillar called the Washington Monument will be recognized as part of it. Together they would testify that the Lord predestined human civilization. And this is Isaiah 19:19, and I paraphrased it. Enoch designed the Great Pyramid to be a prophecy calendar. The height of 5770 inches equals the year 5770 of the Hebrew calendar and the year 2009 AD of the Christian calendar. Enoch had prophesied that he would return in 2009, and so he did return, as the book of engineering genius Samuel Laboy. About 3000 BC, God took Enoch to heaven after Enoch lived 365 years. Why? It was to prophesy, and you are about to learn what that prophecy was. Enoch had drawn out the prophetic calendar of events of civilization as an architectural drawing of the Great Pyramid. Enoch had illustrated the plan of God for civilization on a piece of paper. We can use the numbers 365 because Enoch was taken to heaven in the year 365 to link Enoch to the man through whom Enoch would return to earth at the end of time. Enoch returned through the work of engineer genius Samuel Laboy in a metaphoric sense. Here is how we link Enoch to Samuel Laboy through the numbers 365. Enoch was taken to heaven after he lived 365 years and completed his architectural drawing of the Great Pyramid. Over time, humans no longer lived to be 365 years of age, So we would recognize our end-time Enoch by the shorter span of 36.5 years. The research of Samuel Laboy into the Great Pyramid was for those 36.5 years, which were 1972 to 2008/9 AD. As a mathematical equation, 1972 plus 36.5 equals 2008.5 or 2009 AD. At the end of that span, the boy's work culminated with the publication of his providential book, August 2008. The year 2009, which is the year 5770 at the top of the Great Pyramid, is the very first year in the new and resurrected life of Enoch through engineering genius Samuel Laboy and his book. See this diagram for yourself at the twoprophets.org website. This is Edward D. McKinney speaking to you from Big Sky, Montana, the Mountain of God.